What is going on, you wankers? Happy Sunday. This is another episode of Evan Ranks. I have a good guest here, as you can tell, with Hunter Walker. We're going to have a podcast today on the craziest sports contracts. Um,
So
I actually got Ryan to give me the idea, and Hunter ended up doing some research, if you will, before even discussing that we were going to be doing it. And he was like, "Dude, you should talk about this and maybe even bring up this." And I was like, "Why don't you get on the podcast and be our official Walker's Home Service sponsor of the pod?"
my guy,
Um,
nice shout out.
yeah, this pod is brought to you guys by Hunter Walker and Walker's Home Services for all your home service needs.
Yes, sir.
But we're gonna get into it here. I think the biggest thing to talk about would be Shohei Ohtani. I know you and I had talked about that off camera, but wanted to kind of get your thoughts on it. Like,
Yeah,
it's a
man.
crazy contract there.
Insane. I mean, based like we talked last time. I mean, money, baseball money is just outrageous. I mean, the fact he's making 700 million in 10 years is absolutely insane. Like
Yeah,
mind blowing. I will never see that money in my life.
that's the crazy part. I mean, even though he's deferring so much of his contract money initially, like he's only getting like 2 million this first year.
I
That's
think
still $2 million I will never
I
see.
want
I
to
mean,
say I think it's 2 million for the 10 years, and then after that 10-year contract, he's getting paid 68 million after that.
okay,
I'm pretty
per
sure
per year
per
for
year for the next
X
10 years.
amount. Okay, well, good for him. That sounds like a pretty good paycheck, especially if you're retired. Like, you do all your hard work now, don't get paid as much, but
Yeah.
then
I mean, you think about it, the endorsements he's going to get and stuff like that, it's worth taking the pay cut. I mean, Nike or
that's
somebody
true.
will call.
I mean, I feel like in LA too, he has to take a pay cut if he's a true player. Like, he's not chasing the money; he's chasing the rings. He's
Yeah.
like, you know what, to afford Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, he's actually take. All right, I got it. So,
Yeah.
do you think a lot of athletes like defer payments? I mean, like if I
I
didn't
mean,
research, I guess specifically on that, but
in my opinion, you should. I mean, if you don't want to win. You're there playing for money. You're not playing to win games. I mean,
right.
you see players do this. You know the player is about playing ball, and that he wants to get a World Series or a Super Bowl or a NBA Finals. I
All
mean,
right,
earning money is the best way
shoot.
to do it in my eyes.
So for like the people who I guess wouldn't know, I guess if you don't look into the business side of sports, you're just a amateur watcher. Deferring your payments are simply is that like an option in every single contract, I guess? Like
I would assume. I mean, you're the one making the money. You're the one making them that
hmm,
money. You have the option to do
if
pretty
it's
much
like
whatever
part
you
of
want.
the like agreement that they have to do, like them with the team. It's like, all right, do you agree to get 50% now, 50? I don't know, but that still seems like a $700 million.
I mean, that's just, and he's what 29 years old, so he'll be playing till he's or under contract till he's 39. So I mean, they'll be paying him till
Yeah.
he's 49 in
Who's
that.
the what's the next closest? I think I have Messi.
Yeah,
Soccer.
I think it's Messi soccer.
Okay, so that's what 4 years, 674 million.
That is soccer money is way better than
It's
baseball
still
money.
like
That's
the
crazy.
two most. I don't want to say unpopular. I feel like baseball's still a popular sport, but like I even have Ronaldo here like under them, and then it's not till like Mahomes that football is on there,
Yep.
and I think there might be a couple of. I don't have like the actual one through.
What I think when I looked it up, it was the top out of the top 15 or the top 20. It's the top 20. Out of the top 20, 14 people play baseball
Wow.
contract.
Hmm.
I mean, that shows you that baseball money is just ridiculous.
And I guess soccer is too. I just pulled up that list and I see Kareem Benzema,
Yep.
Ronaldo, Messi, of course, those two names, and there's a couple once you get a little bit farther down. But soccer money is crazy too. Like
Yep.
to think Ronaldo's deal is 2.5 years,
Yep.
and he's making like 536 million. I mean, I think crazy like
That
is
is
partially money, like the amount of money it is, but I feel like
yep.
the time in which you're also like season wise. So let's say football, it's what 18 games.
Yeah, now it's up to 18, yeah. And then
So
I
and
mean,
yeah, you have everything else that coincides. Like you have to work out and go to team meetings, watch film, but like you're only actually being
I think
evaluated on 18 games and
yeah.
making. like Mahomes' contract, $400 million. So
I mean, that's $45 million a year for the next 10 years he makes to play
let's
quarterback 18 times a year if they
18.
don't make the playoffs.
That's 180 NFL games, which is a lot of games. Like I'm not saying that's not a lot, but for 10 years
Yep.
he plays in 180 games, not counting playoffs and Super Bowls, but then he gets 450 freaking million dollars. That's crazy.
Absolutely insane. I mean,
All these are honestly insane.
he's making like $2 million a game.
Or yeah, like when you look at it in that math too, I feel like that breaking it down that way is insane to think. I'm trying to look at like, so I have different ways of looking at crazy. Like I had said, crazy can be an absurd amount of money. Crazy could be an absurd amount of money in a short period of time. But I'm also thinking about like these deferred payments and like what I have written down here, like some crazy contracts in which Bobby Bonilla, if you know that name, like the dude played in like the 90s or early 90s, late 2000s. And he's just now about to start getting paid $1 million a year. Like that's
he's been getting paid for years.
It's not a ridiculous amount of like it is. Well, I'm not scoffing at $1 million. That would change my life. But
yeah, but I mean, in all aspects, it's just insane. I mean, you're getting paid. What was it? It was from 2011 to 2035. Is that what we had? Yeah,
yeah. That's what I saw.
He gets paid every year on the same day, every single year by the Nets, and hasn't played since when 2005, maybe.
Dude, I think they announced that like Bobby Bonilla Day. Like
I think it is. I think it's a true day.
What? I'm gonna look it up because I'm pretty sure like another interesting one would be Scherzer.
Yep.
I think Max Scherzer gets his deferred payments from the Nationals and the Mets on Bobby Bonilla Day.
They said he'll get paid by 3 teams at one time, and that is absolutely insane.
Yeah, they both get paid the same day on Bobby Bonilla Day. That just like I wish I would get paid that like he was getting paid as an athlete for like that time where he was playing, and then I guess deferred payment wise when he retired to 2011 he didn't get paid, but you still have millions in your bank account, and then guess what, next thing you know, like for the next 13 years you're getting $1 million just thrown at you, like here's your check, sir, have a good one.
Who needs a 401k when you can play sports and defer all your money?
Dude, I don't know where I went wrong. I should have figured out like what sport I could have actually succeeded the most in, because I wish I had
put more money into me being an athlete. That's all I can say.
It's expensive. But getting back into it, I know you had wanted to discuss a little bit just in terms of since we'll be ranking them 1 through 5. One that we want to throw in there is the Deshaun Watson contract. Because he hadn't played in 2 years and then gets thrown all this money. Not to mention he was allegedly sexually assaulted however many women, and then the Browns are like,
"We'll just pay you whatever you need.
We'll throw the money at you." I mean,
going through allegations when getting offered, pretty much. It's just, and he hasn't been healthy. I mean, he's a good ball player. Don't get me wrong, but guaranteed money to him after not seeing him play for 2 years is insane. I'm also not a big fan of him. I mean,
well, I think it's a character thing too. Like you're okay seeing all this money go to people who, like you and I were talking about Joe Burrow. What was that example? I guess, or not example, but Burrow was like on the sideline, I think, with his like team and
helping coach, giving his backup quarterback a suite, but yet Deshaun Watson's sitting up there in the suite, taking it all in, not helping the team. Which, I mean, we don't see behind closed doors, so I can't judge somebody but so much. But I'm just not to give that man $230 million guaranteed is just insane to me.
Yeah, I think that's like the case with. I feel like NFL and NBA are a lot like that. I'm thinking about just like in general where people get paid a bunch of money after something like crazy happens. Like all of these are crazy. We're gonna use this word a lot in this podcast, but like all of these are uniquely insane to think about, even if it's a 1 year 500,000 like rookie contracts. doesn't matter who you are, like those are insane. I think what Kyle Teals was maybe for like 7 million.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
dude is literally how old? I mean, these people in 1 year are gonna get all this money. Like, and when you sign these contracts, this is the crazy part. When you sign these contracts, like they basically just write you a check and you get all of your guaranteed money up front.
guaranteed. It's just it's insane. A bonus is a bonus. A bonus, you get a sign-on bonus. That's money. I mean, that's the sign-on bonus is given to you.
Well, not to mention you have like incentives. Like this is I have this on our like honorable mentions because I think it's just too short of a storyline or not really contract. But like you've given incentives. Like I know who's this the safety on the Jets. The first game of the season, he had 3 picks, and he basically got $500,000 for getting 3 picks. Like, but Roy Oswald, who's a pitcher on the Stros in Game 6, they gave him an incentive where if he pitched well and won, he got a fucking bulldozer.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, another one that just comes to mind that's more recent than that is Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy got a weight incentive. He was given money to
Really?
lose weight. And
Okay.
after us talking and me doing some research, I saw that he got paid. I think it was to lose like 30 pounds and something like that. They said they pretty much said he added a spare tire to his body when he was with
Great
Green
day.
Bay. Yep.
Holy cow. That's like what they're doing with Zion, or like Zion
Yep.
in the eating stuff, trying to slim him down. Or you had told me about Kyler Murray's, and I
Yep.
looked at that too about the him needing X hours
Yep.
on watching film
Watching
and
video. Yep.
like
To
the
try
parental controls on his video games. Yeah, yeah.
that is great.
So I want to stick to a little bit of some cash ones here. Your boy A Rod, or A Royd, I should say.
That's my guy, man. That's
He
my
was
guy.
old. He was given a lot of money, 275 million to be exact, 10 years.
A lot of money.
And then like
A lot of
not a
money.
couple of months later, if not the next season, the dude's busted for steroids and just
It,
ruins all of it.
yeah, it was not good. Not good. Now, do I think before that was he worth the money? I mean, yeah, I'm a Yankees fan. Of course he is. He brought a World Series in 2009. Made some playoffs runs before that from '05 to when was it '08? They made some decent runs. Still,
Yeah.
no Yankees team either bust or they're going to win it all. There's no in between. But like you said, I mean, how do you offer somebody so much money when they are
He
such
was
a
30.
yeah?
I
I mean,
mean, what would we say the prime age is for like any sport? I feel like football it's unique because you're getting
yeah,
beat the crap out of every game,
yeah.
but like say what, like 20 to 40,
I'd say your prime
35?
sports is probably 24. Give you 2 years to warm up in the pros. You're out of college at 22. Let's say 24, 32.
24 to 32. Those are your prime years. Okay. All right. I mean, you're making that's just crazy to think about how much money you're making in that short
Yeah.
amount of time. But like age wise, I guess if you're in your 30s and you're going to get paid, I don't know what 275 breaks down into like 27.5 mil, whatever it, I don't know. Per year, you get X amount,
Yep.
and you're, I mean, only but so good till maybe 34 for baseball. I mean,
I mean, you
not to
think
mention he got busted for his roids, so he didn't even get to utilize like any of those prime years. But
and then by toward the end of his career, he became a DH guy because his arm was gone and he was too
you
slow to
can't be
move.
playing third.
Yeah, it was just I don't know. He didn't have enough at bats to really contribute to stats that he needed. I mean, so it's one of those things.
I just don't understand why you pay people like that much money, or even if you want to pay him that much. Like, let's say like we needed A Rod, we wanted A Rod, we're willing to pay 15 million a year, or
Yep.
we'll say $75 million a year. I don't know, whatever it is, but like, let's try to do a shorter contract. I feel like
Yeah.
all of these that we have written down here that we wanted to like do on the ranking, if it was just more or less like, okay, the soccer stupid money, but like if if you cut Otani's in half, if it was like 5 years, 400 million,
Yep.
you'd be like, okay, that's not like insane, but like you put 10 years and you increase it by another, $400 million, and it literally looks like the biggest amount of money ever. I mean, this would solve our like economic, political factors. I mean, why are we just giving all the money here? They should donate part of it to help restore our fucking economy.
Something needs to help that.
Dude,
But
that's a. I don't want to go down that. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
that's for another podcast.
Yeah, seriously, but that I mean, 275 million for Aroyd. I'm gonna let you take the reins on Chris Davis because I'm an Orioles fan, so you can talk bad. I can talk bad about Aroyd. You can talk bad about Chris Davis here.
I'm not a Chris Davis fan, man. When did he sign that contract? He signed that contract in 2016. All right, it was for $7 million or $7 million, 7 years, 161 million. All right, in 2016, he batted 221. So that year he signed the contract, he was batting below 250. Now, he had 84 RBIs. That's not great.
I remember watching Chris Davis. He was like a home run or strikeout. Like there was no in between.
He had, in my eyes, personally, he had 2 good years, 2013, 2015. He batted above 250 both those seasons. Had 138 RBIs in 13 and 117 in 15. My opinion, he did not hit above 200 his last 3 years in the league. And the year before that, his 4th year before his last year, he was batting 215. I mean, this dude is making so much money to be an all-star. And
he just wasn't.
I mean, just wasn't. He just was not.
I think the crazy part about Chris Davis, too, is like it's another deferred. I feel like the deferred payments are like what makes all of these contracts even more insane to think about because he was literally one of the highest paid players, maybe the highest, on the 2023 roster, even though he has been retired since 2020.
Yep. And I mean, he's making $23 million a year to bat 100 or 200. I mean, what is that? In all honesty, I think you have just as good of a chance of getting your bat up there and hitting the ball.
Well, and he like retired, I guess, like not. You signed a 7-year contract, but you retired like 3 years early.
Yeah, and which I mean that happens. It does. That's where your money, your contracts help you as a ball player. But man, it's just I'm not a big Davis fan.
I looked it up though, like from a standpoint of just how long these contracts, I guess, go for. 2023 to 2026, he gets $9 million. Then 2026 to 2033, $3.5 million. And then 2033 to 2037, he gets another $1 million. I mean, I guess it's insane because they have to pay their current players, but then shit like this happens and it hits the fan, and then you're like, well, we don't want to pay this dude who's retired $161 million. Like we'd be broke and couldn't afford a Adley Rutschman.
I mean,
you have to break it up.
It's just it blows me away. What baseball can do money-wise is insane. Like another one that you think about that's kind of at the Chris Davis level in my eyes is like Giancarlo Stanton. I'll talk about the Yankees that they picked up that contract from Miami. He's had 3 good years in New York since they picked it up, if that. I mean,
and he's not really like a regular starter.
And he's a DH. He's a strikeout player, just like Judge would be. Just like you said, Davis. I mean, his contract was 13 years. Yeah, 13 years, $325 million for him to hit home runs, and he hasn't really done that. I mean, he has, but the Yankees don't win. They still don't barely make the playoffs.
That's the stipulation. I feel like people justify because like I think Juan Soto just recently yes, his stats will back it up, but like I feel like we pay these people. So Padres didn't get a lot of wins. I feel like you should pay people if they give you wins. If they
produce.
But most of the time it's like you pay these people and then their life falls apart and they forget how to play a sport, and then you're left with like a Chris Davis situation or Bobby Bonilla. Like they were decent and then they weren't decent, and now you're screwed.
Yeah, now you're done. Well, I mean, but in aspect like Ken Griffey Jr., he's getting paid right now, I believe, but he paid off. He was a good ball. I mean, one of the best we will ever see.
I think I look at it as a negative, I guess, for the MLB, but at the same time, you got to look at it as a positive that these players, some of whom will defer these payments
Yep.
solely because they are that team player.
Yep.
I mean, we
And
briefly talked about that before, but like that's the biggest, I think, kicker with those.
that's where, I mean, you find who wants to play. Like I said earlier in the podcast, who wants to win and who wants to just make money. I mean, Joe Burrow wants to play ball. Yeah, he got a big contract, but he's still down there helping Coach Brown. And
Yeah.
Watson's in the suite, dressed up with his sunglasses in a night game and milking
Yeah.
it.
Well, he'll be enjoying that paycheck, I'm sure. I mean, that's just a
He'll pay off those lawyers.
significant amount of money. Moving on here, so we had a handful of content there. We had honorable mentions, something that's yes pretty crazy, but not to the same scale as some of the other ones that we went into the details and stats. But I want to get your honorable mention before I do mine. Who you got? What kind of crazy little thing do we have going here?
So when you told me about this little segment you wanted to do, I kind of did some research. Found a couple people I really liked that I thought they had clauses that were just like, man, that's crazy. Well, as you know, recently I've become a mustache guy.
Okay, yep.
I'm a mustache guy, and my boy Raleigh Fingers
Fingers
had the mustache clause in his thing. And so what that was, you don't know, is my man got paid to grow a mustache by Father's Day. The team wrote down that if he grew a mustache by Father's Day, he would have made money from it. A $300 bonus, actually, is what it was.
Dude, that's a nice looking mustache.
Dude, nice looking mustache. Well, see, that's what they said. They said it was a joke, really, at first. Well, then the fans took it and ran with it. And it just became his look. From there on out, it was his look, was the mustache.
I'm seeing if I can't share my screen. Can we see that on there now?
Let's see. I don't see it.
Can we see what? Oh, hold on. There we go. Raleigh Fingers is where we want to share. And then it should be. Oh, there we go. There we got Raleigh Fingers.
Man,
that is
girls too, dude. I'm telling you.
Look at him in old age too. I mean, he's still rocking that thing.
Yep. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame mustache. I don't care if he gets in because of stats or whatnot, but his mustache better put him in the Hall of Fame.
But so he got paid. They literally gave him a payment solely for growing the mustache.
If he grew a mustache by Father's Day, it was $300 bonus is what they offered him. And he played in the 70s, I think.
It was an older generation.
And so $300 in the 70s was, I mean, good money. You could buy cars.
I mean, yeah, I'm not scoffing at the amount of money. That's just hilarious. I bet it probably worked too. Attendance probably went up after that.
Had to be. I mean, you have a Hall of Fame mustache like that, people want to come see it.
I like that. I'm going a different route. I like that a lot, and if I let that not be a part of that segment, I think that might be number one crazy on the rankings. But no, I'm going Gilbert Arenas.
Oh.
Does anybody remember when that was a household name, man? Fucking Gilbert. He actually recently hit the news again. I mean, this is irrelevant from his contract, but talking a little smack on the Pistons organization and their young draft picks. But Gilbert Arenas. Okay, so he was a terrible human being, terrible teammate, battled a significant amount of injuries.
Yep.
And then the Washington Wizards said, guess what? We apparently love you. He is the epitome of someone from DC, truthfully. I think he embodied Washington.
They were called Bullets for a reason.
Okay, yep, fair enough. 6 years, $111 million. This was in 2008. And then not after, in 2009. We all remember what happened. The man showed up to the locker room with a loaded gun and got suspended. I don't remember how many games, but I certainly would not want that man to be my teammate.
No.
Wizards ended up agreeing he was not meant to be there, and then he got traded. So they essentially had to buy out his contract, though.
No, just because, who he was.
And this was solely because the Wizards couldn't. It was dumb for them to pay him anyway. He had no business getting that kind of contract, but That's out of their control. This man just literally one day goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna bring my gun to class today, or bring it to the game." Like,
I
when
mean,
is that a good
it's.
idea?
I mean, you think about it. The Washington. I mean, there's a reason they're going to move to Virginia now. The Washington franchise is horrific.
It
Every
is rough.
sport is horrific except for the Capitals. I mean,
That's, and
the
we have a
Red.
Russian leading that one. That's Ovi. I
Yep,
mean,
Ovi. Yep,
Ovi's probably got a just for the point of the pod. I wonder what Ovi's
local
contract is.
local team.
He gets 47 million for 5 years. I mean, I guess hockey money's just not.
Hockey money's not there, and you would think. I mean, maybe just it might just be his contract, but
He's
I
also
on
old.
that list that we saw, I didn't see any hockey players.
Yeah, let me list of largest sports. I mean, so basketball you don't get there until Jalen Brown, which is 19 on that list.
That's an insane contract he got too.
I don't understand how he's the highest NBA basketball play, like highest paid. Like
Me either.
Jokic is even far below him.
And LeBron's the best in the game right now. He still gets paid less than that. But
Where the heck I'm at 34 national, still not. Dude, I still don't see any. What's it called? Hockey teams.
that's insane.
I'm all the way in the 90s.
Yeah,
It
hockey
goes
money-
to it goes to 99. It goes to Chris Davis. Chris Davis is the 99th highest contract in all of sports,
that's insane.
and there is absolutely zero hockey players on
In
that
all
list.
honesty, I could probably name 99 baseball players that play better than him.
Yeah, I would agree to that. I could, yeah,
That is
if he
crazy.
deserves that much money too.
So
All right, let's get into the ranking here though.
let's do it.
So just as a little refresher, we're sort of rolling with we talked about Otani, Deshaun Watson, Chris Davis, Ronaldo, Messi, A Rod would be in there, and yeah, let's roll with those. I want to keep the honorable mentions out of it. So number 5, I want to do like a collab one with you. So instead of you having your own rankings and I having mine, it would just be ours.
All right,
Like,
let's
cool?
do it.
All right. And my number 5, I would do Deshaun Watson. You agree, or you think maybe somewhere else?
We're saying 5 worst or 5 like number one's the craziest contract.
So number 1 is the most crazy, and then 5 is still crazy, but compared to the other 4.
Like you said, money wise, his contract isn't crazy high. 5 years, 230. That's not insane. I mean, that's half what Mahomes is getting paid. So I'd agree with you. I think money wise, now player wise, I would have never signed him. But that's just bias.
But see, that's also where the crazy comes in.
That's why he's
That
there.
they paid him not even that amount of money, but they even gave this man a chance to step on a football field again.
Yep. I mean, you're not guilty and proven until you're proven. But let's go 5. Well, that's another topic.
That works good. 5. All right. 4. Who would you put throw there?
I would put probably Ronaldo or Messi. I mean, contract itself is crazy, but in all honesty, now that I'm thinking about it, across the world, soccer is the game. I mean, soccer is their sport. So I mean, every viewer, every jersey, all that stuff across the world. I mean, soccer's big. I mean,
it's so big. All right, I like that pick there. If anything, I would stick with Ronaldo. Well, Ronaldo and Messi, just because when they go to these other teams, they're solely being paid this much money as like a marketing ploy to get people to spend more money on their games. Like, so they can give them that much. But
I'm thinking, let's go Messi there. I think
you want to do a combination. We'll do Messi / Ronaldo.
Do that.
Just kind of combine them. We'll keep the soccer guys on the same. Okay. All right, and then 3. It looks like we'd kind of flip flop mine because I had A Rod at 4. Would you put A Rod's contract as possibly a 3?
I'm a rock with that. I agree. I think Rock
Right.
3. I think that's a decent one. I think who he is why he got the money. The whole Royds thing coming after that is just a very unlucky for the Yankees.
Yeah. I mean, and I believe you had told me this too, that this is when J-Lo sort of thing hit the fan as well.
I think that yeah, J Lo he lost J Lo what 4 years, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. I mean, A Rod's just a loser. I mean, he just honestly is a loser.
You've
Um,
heard it here first.
I'm a Yankees fan, but end of the day, he
But
was
third
a
crazy contract solely because the dude is going to get paid ridiculous amounts of money for being a senior citizen and ended up doing steroids.
yep big.
All right.
Yankees are usually good at signing people past their prime.
That's exactly what they did there.
Yep.
And then we'll look at the error in which this is funny because I think we can both agree Chris Davis goes here.
Oh yeah.
But so the Orioles are notorious for not paying their young, successful talent and letting them leave.
Yep.
I mean, we lost Machado. We lost.
Which
So
losing Machado was okay. His attitude was poor. That's a poor attitude.
it was bad there. But then you have this Chris Davis character in which he definitely did not deserve this much money. And you're like, this is our franchise player. We want him to be here for the next 7 years when he'll either only strike out or
Yep.
possibly hit a home run.
Yep. I mean, now they're spending money on him, and they could be paying Jackson Holiday. So we will see. We will see.
All right. I'm going to let you do the honors. I think we both know what number one ranking goes to.
Got to be Otani. I
Yep.
mean, money is unimaginable. Great dude, though. I give him credit for deferring the money. I mean, he wants to win, and he was definitely not going to do that with the Angels. They've ruined Mike Trout as a player, and he was smart to get out. And the Dodgers, I mean, that's just a crazy amount of money. It's mind blowing.
I feel like that amount of money is when people ask you how you can solve like world peace, Shohei Otani, like his contract and stuff. That's how we solve world peace. $700 million.
That is, I mean, and it's just insane. I mean, I think the Giants offered him the same thing, but I mean, he's going to win a World Series. The Dodgers will win the World Series at some point in the next 10 years. They got Mookie, Freeman, Chris Taylor, UVA native.
Yes, shout out Chris Taylor.
But I mean, that team's going to make it. I hate it.
I mean,
but
even the smaller names, Max Muncy, what's his name, Will Smith, the catcher.
Yep. And then they got pitching. I mean, they just got what's his name from the
Glasnow.
Yep, they just got him. They signed him to what 125 million, 100 something million.
I don't know where this money is coming out of. They must have like money trees or something, dude.
I mean, I say that, but the Yankees organization's the same way. They just are paying past players.
Yeah.
They sign people at their prime, and the Dodgers are smart enough to sign people in their prime.
You got a good one with Vertigo. I mean, I don't think it's an insane amount of money, but he's a pretty decent player, especially when you steal him from the Red Sox.
I think Soto will be fine. We'll see. I mean, it'd be cool to see a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. I don't think it'll happen, but it'll be cool.
No, well, my O's will probably get in there before the Yanks, but
they're young. That's for sure, man.
Thank you so much for popping on here, dude. Couldn't honestly think of anyone else that would have been our first guest. It works out perfectly because you're our first guest on the podcast, and now Walker's Home Services is the first sponsor. So,
any home service needs.
Dude, that's free advertising right there. I ain't even going to charge you for that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll get you.
Yeah, well,
before you here soon is get you a big old backdrop that says Walker's Home Services.
Oh, perfect. We could get like the little light up or like Walker's Home Service Studio, maybe. You guys could have studio naming rights.
That you work at. Yes, sir.
There we go. Heck yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here with Evan Ranks. This was Evan and Hunter Ranks, Craziest Sports Contracts. I hope y'all enjoyed, and we will see you all in the next one.
Yes, sir.